Hello, Literates. I'm Britt. This is my channel, Brittwriterly. Welcome back to the February Rebellious Reading Report. If you are new here, and I do have some of you who are new here, so fun, welcome. I am a book and author too, but I talk about the intersections of literature and culture broadly, and specifically I read not science fiction, I'm not really into sci-fi, speculative fiction, fantasy, and romance. I write in those genres as well, and so I talk about my foray into and my lessons learned from indie publishing. If you look at like back material, I talked about my explorations into forays, successes, and lessons in traditional publishing. And I pivoted from trying trad pub, I guess it's a year and a half, maybe even almost 2 years now. Is that right? No. Maybe. A little bit over a year. Maybe a little bit over 2. If you're new here, I am very bad with time. Exceptionally bad. If there's not a date on it, I'm gonna guess, and the guess could be off by 6 months to a year. That's who I am. Okay, so the month almost got away from me without doing my rebellious reading report, and it's only the second one of the year, so I was like, well, let's wait until at least the second quarter before we start falling off with stuff. But I'm doing a lot, okay? I'm really doing a lot, trying to juggle a bunch of things. I have some really exciting announcements coming soon, but they're not fully done yet. All ink is not dry. But when I tell you all the things that I have been juggling in February alone, you will understand why every week I sort of like get into the chair, either this one or the black one on, and I'm just like, okay, y'all, here's what I got. I'm just trying to be consistent while also keeping some very distinct, separate teacups in the air. So yeah, if you're new here, there was a time when this was a very orderly space, and it's chaotic now. And the chaos may end, and I may be like super, I can't see that, but maybe it's very, this is who I am for now. So, accepting that, welcome to those of you who are new. I'm so glad you're here. If you have not hit that notification bell, you absolutely should. Ring that bell, so you don't miss a single upload or live or now shorts. I think I kind of fell off last week with doing shorts, but I really was doing well for a few weeks, even maybe almost a month, of uploading at least one short a week. And for a while I was doing one every day. And that's where I think a lot of new subscribers came from. So hello. And I will try to get back consistent on that. Just, the teacups, every now and then you just have to triage and be like, those 3 teacups must remain in the air. So those, unfortunately, can fall, because those teacups are plastic, so they'll bounce, and those are porcelain. So if it's between stuff IRL dropping and digi stuff dropping, the digi stuff is always going to bounce, but there's some IRL stuff that just, they don't bounce, they break, and I just cannot afford that right now. So anyway, all to say, I'm going to do my rebellious reading report, and here is the theme of this one. All the books that I started but did not complete in February, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Part of the point of the rebellious reading report was that I wanted to do reading vlogs, but just couldn't, because I start a whole bunch of books, and I have thoughts on them, but for one reason or another, I don't finish them. So I am freeing myself from trying to create content on finished books and allowing myself to just tell y'all my in-process thoughts about in-process books that it may take me several months to actually work my way through, or books that I'm like, I'm not going to finish this book and here's why. So did I finish a single book in the month of February? No, but fun fact, I did read the same book 2.5 times. Did I listen to all of it? No, let me explain. So on Audible, I have the Audible premium account, so there are some books that are free. I like listening to books as I go to sleep. For those of you who are the faithful few, hooty hoo, you know that I listen to book 1 and 2 of the Amaranthine Saga by Forthright a lot. Like, I've listened to them probably about 10 times, no exaggeration, in the past 3 years. That being said, I usually listen to those when I am going to sleep, as just like, it's a very well-known story. It's just very chill. Like, it's a very chill story. It's charming. Especially those first two. The last book she wrote, I'm just like, I'm gonna have to depart from this world. But the first two, they're so chill. Not that there isn't action and adventure, there is, but it's just, I don't know. It's still just such a charming world. So I listen to those a lot when I go to sleep. I started trying to find new books. Oh, train. I was like, what is that? I started trying to find new books, and so I have been listening to, you were getting a whole bunch. Okay, you were getting a whole bunch of this China cabinet. I started trying to find new books, so I was looking at, free ones. So I started listening to The Ghost of Marlowe House by Bobby Holmes. And it's read by Romy Norlinger. What's this other name? Wow, the print is so small I literally cannot read it. Anyway, I started reading it. The purpose of this book is what? To put me to sleep. So, have I made my way through this book in completeness? Yes, I have, a couple of times. But do I know who done it? I don't. Because I'll push play. I set a 30-minute timer for it to turn off in 30 minutes. And every single time, I'm asleep by the time the timer goes off. So I hear parts of it. I wake up and I'm like, what happened? Well, I heard this and that. And then when I go to bed the next day, push play where I stopped it, even if I didn't really hear the last chapter and a half, push play, go on. So I have heard this book 2.5 times. I'm on chapter 23 right now. And this much up to this point, I know what's going on. I've heard some key revelations. I just don't know how it ends. And so I have 3 hours and 57 minutes left, and maybe this time I will figure out what's going on. It's kind of a little bit of a cozy mystery. This woman is psychic isn't the word, but she sees ghosts. So she moves into this house with a friend, she inherited it from her aunt. She's trying to renovate it into a bed and breakfast. The ghost of the man who owned it is in the house, and she's like, dang, I gotta figure out how to get this man up out of here. So of course she has to figure out how to help him get peace. Everyone thinks that this man killed himself. He's like, I don't think I did. And after she gets to know him, she's like, yeah, you seem a little bit too impressed with yourself to have done that. So she has to figure out who murdered him. I don't know the answer to that because I don't know where it happens, but it ain't in the first 6 hours of the book. So maybe in the last 4 I'll figure it out, but I don't know. I just know there are a lot of people around the house, and we get their POVs and flashes sometimes, and there's a lot of people around the house who are like snooping for different things. So I don't know what's in this house, but this house seems to be some prime real estate that's really important, and she's inherited it, so people are kind of trying to figure their way around the house and trying to manage her as best they can to distract her from what's going on. So she's trying to figure out this ghostly mystery and also has to figure out, what's going on with these people around me, why are they interested, da-da-da-da. So I like the book. I just have not heard consciously the ending. That's the first one. The second one is Delicious Monsters. I told y'all in my last week's, it came out on Saturday because something was going on with my Premiere Rush programming. I'm so sorry. I told y'all on the Friday, the light is doing something so crazy to my face. Good gracious. It's the orange and then the light colored wood and then this. I don't know. Sorry. Okay, there it is. Figuring out how to light me. All right, cool. Figure it out. I said on my Friday reading sprints that my Girl What You Reading, which is my weekly reading update, so they're supposed to be brief. This one was not, but they're supposed to be. It was going to come out on Friday at 2, and then my software spazzed, and so I uploaded it again and it kept saying error. So I had to uninstall it, reinstall it, and I finally uploaded on Saturday at like 5. So sorry for it being late, but yeah, it's there now. I told y'all then that I was reading Always Watching, isn't it? By what's her name? Liteates. Have I finished that? No, I still have 2 hours left. Will I finish it? I don't know. I paused that to start reading Taken by D. Henderson. And I was excited about that. I remember telling y'all during my Friday sprints, I'm excited because I love a series, and she has a series that I started looking at. Well, I started reading Taken because I was wondering if it might be a comp for a spec fic book I'm working on. This is not spec fic, but it deals with a subject matter that I've been researching for the spec fic, and so I was like, oh, maybe I can get some insight into the subject matter by reading this, which is more of a mystery suspense than well, it's not spec fic at all. It's a mystery suspense. But I was wondering if I could not use it, but like if it'd be helpful to read this book for some insight into the subject matter for my own novel. Whatever. So I paused reading that because I was scrolling through D. Henderson's backlist, because her and Liteates are prolific writers in Christian fiction, specifically the mystery suspense genres. And so I was like, let me look at what else D. Henderson has, because I'm not hating this book. I just if you remember, I didn't like the romance in Liteates' Always Watching, and it gave me a major ick, so I had to pause. That's why I went to D. Henderson. I'm trying to remember how I felt about the romance in Taken. Yes. I was really hoping it was going to be like the Christian fiction version of the Ellery Hathaway mystery, like detective mystery series. Is it that? A little bit, kind of. I like the romance more in Ellery Hathaway because it's more of a slow burn. And I feel the same way about Taken as I do with the book I started yesterday, I think, which is also by D. Henderson. It's called Danger in the Shadows. She has a long series called the O'Malley series it's like a found family trope over several series. Everyone in the family has been either abandoned or has had some like huge childhood trauma that has left them pretty much without family that they can trust, or a family that is actually alive. And so they have found each other somehow. They have decided to become a family. They have taken on the name of O'Malley. They made it up. They decided on it together, and they said, okay, we're going to be each other's family. We're the O'Malleys. And so first of all, the premise was so cute to me. So it was not cute, but like touching. So I was like, okay, I'll read the O'Malley series. So Danger in the Shadows is an O'Malley series prequel. So I was like, all right, well, let me read this one. And it's about this girl, well, this woman. She's in her 30s, and she is in the witness protection program. She not yet anyway. She has drawn the attention of a retired NFL player named Adam Black, which is bad because she's in WITSEC. She can't be found. Now, it's not really WITSEC per se. She just has a very powerful family who has been able to give her a WITSEC experience. But she is in hiding, essentially, has been in hiding for 25 years, ever since she was abducted at the age of 6. Content warnings for childhood abduction. I'm so sorry, that was not good. Content warnings. Childhood abduction, loss of a sibling. Yeah, so those are the content warnings for this book. And if you want to read Taken by D. Henderson, content warnings for discussions of human trafficking. I'm trying to remember if she herself was trafficked. She was also abducted as a youth. She was not trafficked, but she witnessed it and perhaps was forced to participate in it. So D. Henderson, human trafficking, there's a lot of that as far as I can tell in the 2 books that I have read, a lot of references to it. And it's usually about characters who have come out of it. So will I read the rest of Taken? I don't know. I feel the same way about Taken as I do about Danger in the Shadows, which is interested but a little annoyed with the romance for the same reason I'm annoyed with Liteates, where I'm just like, this does not feel earned. With Ellery Hathaway, Ellery didn't get with, I almost remember that detective's name, which would have been super impressive, but I can't remember it. Anyway, it took her, it's like a 5-book series. She didn't get with him until like the end of book 3. Maybe. I like slow burns because it doesn't, I'm fine with insta-loves, actually. I'm fine with insta-loves under the right circumstances. But when you're writing about people who have survived human trafficking, who have survived abduction, it just don't make no sense for them to be in a relationship or even like, I don't know. To me, it's not realistic for someone to meet, to be coming out of, and Taken, she's 16 days escaped from this family who held her for 11 years. And she implies all the things that you would expect that are terrible happened to her. So I don't get how she is accepting touch. Now these are all Christian fiction, so there's no sex, but you're accepting touch, just like casual touch from a man, touch that you did not invite. It's not like she held out her hand, he touched her first without asking, which I'm just like, why would you do that? Because he has experience, because his daughter was abducted and recovered after 8 years in captivity. You don't know not to touch and there's no reaction. She doesn't shrug him off. She doesn't say, don't touch me, nothing. So at that point, I'm like, I don't know that I believe this. And that's the thing, at least with 3 of the 5 books that I've tried to read this month that have sent me, with Always Watching by Liteates, with Taken by D. Henderson, with Danger in the Shadows by D. Henderson. Sorry if my laptop saying that she's about to clock out on me. That's my thing with those 3 books. It's like the romance does not feel earned. These men are just like taking a bunch of liberties that don't fit with the genre. If it was a romance and they were doing that, I would be like, okay, that's a little bit much. You're coming on a little bit strong to begin with, but it's a romance, so all right. If it's a little rom-com situation, it's fluffy anyway. But not when they're trafficking, abduction, and you're just putting your hands on her. One of the dudes in Danger in the Shadows, literally, she's running from a stalker, been running from a stalker for 25 years, and the guy, the love interest, he meets her one time, he asks her out, she basically says, like, no. He leaves notes on her car, continuing to ask her out. She leaves notes on his car saying, please stop. And then he seeks her out. He finds her. He has his lawyer's assistant sit on the apartment garage at the building he thinks she works in, because he thinks they work in the same building. He has his lawyer's assistant sit on the garage to follow her and find out where she works, so he can be like, oh, she works here, so that he can go and see her face to face again. And scares the girl so much she hits her panic button and brings down a team of FBI agents on this assistant Ted, which I'm just like, it should have been Adam, the love interest, that got body slammed into the floor. But he just goes and she's sitting there calmly and she's like, yeah, that was not ideal. And he's sitting there like, I've traumatized her. I feel so badly. There's no excuse. Da, 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 da. And then 5 seconds later, he's like, I am not leaving until she agrees to see me again for dinner. Is 1 plus 1 5 or what? Like, where in the world? I've traumatized her. She's scared. Clearly she's under protection, so something big is going on, but I'm going to make her see me before I leave. I'm going to make her agree to a dinner date with me before I leave. I just can't. I can't do it. And that's one example of the kind of unearned closeness and romance that characterizes Always Watching and Taken to me. Like, it just, it's stuff where I'm like, this does not make sense. I can't do it. So have I DNF'd these books? Not officially, because with Always Watching, I do want to know who done it. With Taken, I don't know. There's political intrigues that I'm interested in, but all of these books, if I finish them, it will be in spite of the romance, because the romance is giving me capital I, capital C, capital K. It's literally revolting to me. I can't stand. It's not just unearned. It feels insensitive to be talking about people who just came out of this trauma and throwing them into a romance as if they would actually be okay with being touched by men that they don't know. Now, that's not my experience, so I'm not going to say, it just doesn't feel realistic. And I just can't, I can't get past that. It's a major roadblock for me, believing that someone who just escapes this would be even available for a romance, let alone would allow themselves to be touched as she is and taken, and that someone who is evading a stalker would so easily tell this guy who has just scared you to death, tell him, I'm being stalked, he abducted me when I was 6. Like, you're telling him things that you just said 12 people in the world know. Why are you telling him this? You said that you only had him over for dinner so that you could tell him that you won't see him ever again. So why are you telling him something that hardly anybody knows? Like, those kind of things where I'm just like, I don't understand the intimacy and the access you're giving this person. Like, those sort of irregularities I can't overlook. So anyway, that's one of the reasons for my unread. The others, Delicious Monsters, if you saw my update, you also know I got a serious scare from Delicious Monsters and almost fainted. Literally almost lost consciousness. Lots of things contributed to that. If you don't know the story, then you should definitely watch this past week's Girl What You're Eating. That's part of why it's so long, because I had a little story time, but Delicious Monsters scared the bejeezy out of me, so I'm making my way back to it and through it. But it's going to be a slow read because the body gore content warning, that's very real. So those are the 5 books I've been reading for all of February. Delicious Monsters, Always Watch by Lizelle Samberry, Taken and Stranger in the Dark by D. Henderson, Always Watching by Lynette Eason, and The Ghost of Marlowe House by Bobby something. Jill Springer. No, that's not right. Bobby Holmes. The Ghost of Marlowe House by Bobby Holmes. I have not finished, consciously, any of these books. Am I working on it? I really, really am. Will I finish them by the end of the month? Super unlikely. So unlikely. But that is my rebellious reading report. This was a month of unread books. But I had strong feelings about them. And you know, to some extent, that's what you want out of a book. You want it to elicit strong feelings. Now, I had strong negative feelings about 3 of these 5 books, and I had strong feelings of terror from one of them, but from another, I have strong feelings of realization. So, you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. If you made it this far in the video, comment unread or unfinished. Comment unfinished if you have made it this far in the video. If you have, thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up. Again, ring that notification bell so you can make sure you don't miss any of my uploads, any lives. And assuming that I get this up on Tuesday, February 27th, tonight, do not miss the live writerly conversation on Shay's channel, Shay with the Hobbies. We are going to have a guest today, Deidre from Shade Tree Reads. You're not going to want to miss it. We are talking about Black love. That remains one of the most watched writerly conversations that we have ever done in 3 seasons of the collaboration. So 3 years of the series. So you definitely want to catch this one because it seems like y'all like when we talk about Black love. So we're doing it again in the month of February. Do not miss it tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming.